So all right, it's the day after the news of Jasprit Bumrah hit the entire country that he's all but out. Although there are reports that he might just be able to make it to that flight to Australia as a tourist or a passenger or as a player. It remains to be seen. But the initial information that we've received is that he is all but out, and either of the two, that is Shami or Mohammad Siraj, will be his replacement. Siraj in the morning
officially was included in the Indian squad for the
He is breathing fire at the nets in Guwahati, by the way.
How do you know?
I've got people out there, everywhere.
No, but who's
I'm telling you, he was breathing fire in the nets.
not bowling?
With his bowling, of course.
Oh, I thought he was just breathing fire.
No. With the bowling, with the.
carrying on his county form.
Yeah.
He was in superb form in the county.
No, but I actually wanted to ask you while you were introducing the show. You said there were reports and there are reports.
There were reports.
That
Yeah.
he might.
There are always reports.
How?
Tomorrow also.
How? When it was said that he will possibly need a surgery on his back, which has been on the mend for a long time, and he had a surgery last year as well.
Yes.
So how is it now that he may actually make it to the World Cup team? And would you risk Bumrah, A, for his own career, and B, for the Indian team? I mean,
Dude,
do you
Bumrah.
have the luxury? Do you have the luxury? I'm talking about the Indian team to carry a player who may or may not recover, but he's got to be in the team. Would you? यार इतनी इंग्लिश बोल रहा था और
How long have you been doing TV?
20 years.
Nobody has ever switched your mic on.
No, I'll tell you what. In TV, you are not supposed to switch
That's what I'm
the
saying.
mic on.
That's what I'm saying. No?
It's
How long have you been doing digital?
Sports Talk. I've been doing for 5 years, and if you remember correctly, the first 3-4 years we were barely audible. So we didn't have these transmitters.
We had no mics at that time.
So we didn't have any transmitters and gadgets like these. We were always like this. Kat, again, I don't know what report you're talking about. The fact is, the selectors had a meeting yesterday, and they know that he will not make it. He will have to first go to the NCA and then consult a doctor.
Yes.
Possibly a surgery may or may not happen. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of whether it'll be a 2-month break or a 3-month break or a 6-month break. The fact is, I don't think he can, in this situation, be an asset if you take him to the World Cup. If you just want to take him to the World Cup, fine. Good luck to you.
And also then you'll have to keep one player out of that 15.
That's what I'm saying.
And you saw when he's half fit also, Bumrah is actually not going to give India that much of a, you may say, an intimidation factor. 2 games against Australia, 2 overs 23, 4 overs 50.
He was coming back. He was coming back, Siddharth. So that's fine. We know what he can do. Harshal also started like that, and while he's been playing more and more, bowling more and more, he's only getting better. So Bumrah again, with the kind of experience that he had, would have come back. 2 more games, and then he would have been the old Bumrah. But that is not happening.
Yes.
But I think that was already announced by Rahul Dravid the day Harshal Patel, and in fact that was in the Asia Cup. Rahul Dravid said that the day Jasprit Bumrah and Harshal Patel are declared fit, they will just walk into the 11.
Yeah.
That is what he said.
Yes.
But this is what, but there has to be some accountability. Who's to be blamed? Is it Bumrah? Is it the NCA or the team doctor, the medical team which is working at the
Or
NCA?
the Mumbai Indians physio, the Mumbai Indians doctor.
Mumbai Indians doctor, Team India. But the bigger question that we are raising here today is
IPL over country.
No, is the
Normally,
Yeah.
the Indian cricket player gets injured for internationals, takes rest for internationals, but will play all 14 to 16 games when it comes to his franchisee in the IPL.
So you basically are saying that the Indian players have become so selfish that they prefer IPL over country. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, so we had the same discussion, I and Shane, we had 3-4 days back in the dugout.
Shane, happy birthday.
Belated happy birthday, Shane.
By the way,
Thank you.
I wasn't here yesterday.
Neither was
No,
I.
he wasn't here, you were here.
No, I was standing there. I didn't come in. I was not
I
allowed.
wasn't
here.
here. I wasn't here.
That's what I'm
Even if you would
saying.
have-
So that's what I'm saying. You guys should have. There should have been a cake here in the Sports Today studio.
I wish Shane would have been here yesterday. I think
We
you've
can
got
get that done today, yeah.
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah,
I also, to be fair, we already
Well,
had a
he's
cake,
happy.
but-
I think you've got a new pair of glasses.
No, this I've been wearing for 3 months now.
Oh. There's something new about you.
Yes.
Okay, let's.
Shoes.
So I and Shane, about 3-4 days back, we talked about the rotation policy of the Indian cricket team ever since November 2021 till this period before the Australia series, before the start of the Australia series. So here I'll just present to you some statistics that are there.
Okay.
Among the core players. If you can just see, only one player that we had among this whole team from 2021 November till now, only one player has played over 85% of the games. 26 out of the 30 games, and that was Bhuvaneshwar Kumar alone.
Wow.
Okay. Now, Sky, Rohit, Pant and Bhuvaneshwar are the only players who have played over 20 of 30 games.
These are only T20 international.
T20 Is. Ever since November, from November till this period of September, 30 T20 Is were played by India. Now, after this, bowlers. If I have to look at the bowlers, Bhuvaneshwar leads with 26. Bishnoi, Arshdeep, Akshar, Avesh, they have all just played about 30% to 50% of the games. Chahal is the next with 18. But look at Jasprit Bumrah. 3 T20 Is from November till now.
Also, it is worth noting, this is before the Australia series.
And the player who might just replace him hasn't played a single T20 international, by the way.
Yes.
I'm talking about Mohammad Shami.
Mohammad
Shami,
Shami.
yeah.
Okay. So Bumrah, this is 3 before the Australia series. He had played 2 against Sri Lanka and only 1 T20 against England. That's it. Core of the World Cup. We also analyzed the core of the World Cup team who are all going. Bhuvi, Sky, Rohit and Pant are only with 20. DK with 19. But it is the bowlers predominantly. Bumrah with 3, Ashwin with 7 and Virat also only played 30% of the games. Now Bumrah, we are saying we have to wrap him in cotton wool. He has to miss most of the season. He has to be rested. But IPL, last 5 years, 14, 16, 15, 14, 14. He played all the games for Mumbai Indians in the IPL. If you look at it, all 14 games with thorough intensity, 15 wickets, 25. 15 wickets. Even though Mumbai Indians were at the bottom of the table and finished as the wooden spoon runners-up, 14-14, and see, not a single game missed. Bumrah is super fit during the IPL, but November till now September, 2 games prior to the Australia series, just 3 games.
Has KL Rahul missed any of the IPL games?
He did miss 1 or 2 games in the 2021 season. Remember, after the game,
He had got injured.
he had gotten injured.
And that's when Mayank, they made the stand-in captain.
Mayank.
He just missed 1 or 2 games. Neither Virat has missed all the games. He played all the games in 2022.
No, I remember in 2016 when Virat was in imperious form. I remember he was, after
Stitches in his hand.
scoring those hundreds, he would often show his stitches
Yes.
to the crowd and to the
Because of the
dressing room.
commit webbing.
The commitment.
Yes.
So maybe when you use this word commitment, maybe the commitment towards the franchisee is more than the.
No, there are certain aspects. I think it is not just the prerogative of the star Indian players. I think when it comes to playing the IPL or to take a break in the IPL, I don't think it is just the Indian player who takes the decision. Obviously, he is inclined towards playing the IPL games.
Yes.
But the BCCI also doesn't have any policy. Now, people talk about Mitchell Starc. That Australia don't let him play in the IPL. They maybe compensate him because they want to keep him fresh for the international cricket.
Yes.
Now, the other side of it is that the IPL is the Indian Premier League run by the BCCI
Yep.
with the money of the franchisees and the broadcaster. Now, it's a chain.
Yes.
It's a chain. And the modern day cricketer, the today's cricketer, his glamour, his money, it all comes from the IPL, not just Indian cricket. It's the IPL. So I don't think if any Indian player on a particular day, and I'm sure when we say that the players play all the IPL games, they do not necessarily do that on their own will. There could be days when a player will have a small little niggle when he's mentally drained or he's physically drained. Like Virat said during the IPL, that he was mentally drained, he was physically drained, and then Ravi Shastri came out, but he didn't take any break. So I think there is pressure on the Indian players by the franchisees, by the broadcaster,
No, but
ultimately by the BCCI.
No, but as far as franchisees are concerned, if you pump in say close to 7,100 crores, that is over 7,100 crores for a franchisee. If I am the owner, if I have spent that kind of money, I would want you to play would play every top player every match in the league or in the season.
That's what I'm saying. So even if the player would have wanted to, I'm sure somebody like Virat, for instance. See, for Virat, if the IPL is important, more important would be international cricket. And he was struggling. He was struggling big time, and he knew that he needed a rest. He knew that he could not, like he said, he couldn't fake it anymore.
Yes.
But he couldn't sit out even one game. Was it only Virat's wish? No, yaar, this game also I'll play, this game also. Because there is pressure. They know they can't miss an IPL game. It could be the franchisee, like Rahul said, it could be the broadcaster. And it definitely is the BCCI. Because the moment Virat or Rohit or Bumrah, they start sitting out in the IPL, what will happen to the IPL?
Numbers will drop even more.
Brand value.
The brand value goes
The brand
down.
value of the franchisee, the brand value of the league also.
Correct.
See, Virat Kohli today has been associated with the RCB right
Forever,
from the start.
forever.
Yeah, right
Beginning,
from
yeah.
the start. He could have chosen to break away from the franchisee. There could have been, but Virat also brings a brand value to that franchisee. Without Virat, now RCB is synonymous to Virat.
Correct.
Virat is synonymous to RCB. If tomorrow and plus, money is important for everybody, be it you, me, him, or to the players. But look at these heavyweights. When I say heavyweights, as in top flight cricketers. How much is Jasprit Bumrah getting from Mumbai Indians? Somewhere around 14
14 odd crores
15
because of the
crores.
retention policy.
And BCCI annual retention the contract
is
is
7
A plus is 7
7
crores. So in a matter of 2 months he's making
double.
14 crores and
But since he's playing more games in the IPL than for India, I think the ratio is not bad.
The overall for because see he's playing Test cricket also, ODI cricket also, and T20s also. I understand that in this calendar year so far he has played just 3 T20Is.
Just 5 T20s if
Five.
you include the Australia series. This was done before the Australia.
See, I remember in 2019, I think before the World Cup, the captain and the coach and maybe the selectors also said that they would tell the franchisees to rotate the Indian players.
That
I
they
mean,
have.
14 games each.
This was, you would remember, there were reports just before the 2019 World
That
Cup.
instructions have already been sent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially
That,
for the fast bowlers.
Exactly, they won't play more than 8 or 9 games.
And at that time
None
also we
of
had
them was
Yes.
rested even for a single
Single game, yes.
So the point is, what comes first, the egg or the chicken? That's the problem. I mean, the IPL, you can't have the same sheen for the IPL without a Virat or a Rohit or a Bumrah.
But do you think
No.
that players give precedence
Even
to...
Hardik Pandya. Why are you forgetting Hardik Pandya? I mean, Hardik is in that cotton wool. He went to the Asia Cup. Two small games he sat out, Afghanistan and Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, yeah.
He's not going to play this series as well, because what happened after the Asia Cup? See, Asia Cup, you had 5 games. He sat out 2. He played 3. The Australia T20s,
T20s he played
2.5 games.
Yeah.
He played both, and now 3 T20s he's not playing.
Yes.
So we can understand you can't risk him. Now that you've lost Jadeja, you've lost Bumrah, you can't risk Hardik Pandya. But again, going back to the debate, he played each and every IPL game. He was the captain, he was bowling,
No,
he was
he
batting.
did miss out, I think.
He missed
one
out
or
a couple
two.
side strain.
Okay. But then, where's that cotton wool when the IPL happens? Why is the cotton wool only for the Indian cricket? I mean, you've got to feel sorry for somebody like Rahul Dravid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Because the coach maybe doesn't have the full authority to tell his players that I need you for this game.
No, but the decision...
player can-
No, but the decision has to be taken by the board, the BCCI,
so-
which is asking. In fact, see, it gives you, when you sell the IPL rights for, how much did they sell these rights for this year?
Close to
Some
49,000 crores.
50,000 crores.
Yeah.
So you earn some bragging rights also, by the way. When you sell these broadcast rights for IPL, the
Yeah.
board earns bragging rights also, that we've made we've created such a huge product in IPL that people
that's
are
what I'm
running.
saying, Rahul.
So the decision has to be taken. So Rahul Dravid, the day he got appointed, in fact, when he came for the interview, or when the BCCI, because I remember after that everybody wanted a piece of cake, as in I've been able to get Rahul Dravid on board. The other gentleman would also say, some other would say that I was the one who made that this deal possible. Yeah. So Dravid could have asked, you should give me you should allow me to decide when a player can play which match, which series.
No, I've heard that Rahul also is in favor of rotating the players, because see, all said and done, they do feel now. I think on the international circuit, it is not just India. There are other teams as well where they realize now, post-COVID and during the COVID, that you can't play all the 3 or the 4 formats.
Yes.
And you've got to rotate players. That is fine. But the equations that you were showing,
Yes.
it was lopsided. Some haven't played at all, and some have been playing.
Shami Umesh didn't play at all.
So maybe they were dropped. So they were not in the reckoning.
Who?
Shami.
for T20.
T20Is.
So he was not in the reckoning. That's fine. But no, my point is that you've put players in that cotton wool. Yet they'd be missing out on the World Cup.
Yes.
I have, for example, never ever heard of an Indian player in the last 14-15 years opting for a surgery a month before the IPL.
Yeah. Never.
It can be 4 months before the IPL, or in November when the international season just starts, or in December. Some do that in January. February would be very rare,
Yes.
because then the IPL becomes touch and go. Again, if I'm a prima donna in Indian cricket, I would say, why should I miss the IPL when Rahul is not missing the IPL? Rahul would say Siddharth is not. Siddharth would say Shane is not. It's a chain. So the point is, I think this IPL over the country, I feel that the criticism is a bit harsh and unfair on the players.
Why?
Because it is not the choice of the player. It is when you are sold. You use the word when you're sold for some X amount. That word sold has your approval. It has the BCCI's approval. It has the IPL Governing Council's approval as well. They could have said that the player has been drafted into that side for this much.
But you say
on the day
sold.
of the auction, you say sold.
Sold.
So it is a literal.
Yes.
It's a literal game out there.
But players want to be.
No, but Rahul, who would not want that money?
But I'm saying it has now become a prestige issue also. So, for example, if I am the owner of a franchisee, I appoint you as a captain, or for example, 2 new franchisees were announced this year. In fact, came into existence. So they had a few discussions with a lot of players. Some of them they came on board. So they also must have spoken to these players, and then only they would have decided, okay, if Shane is in my team, Shane, this is what you have to do. You have to be available for all the 14 or 16 matches. You won't be allowed to. I think that's the price that the players have to pay for this thing.
My only point is,
one more thing is, most of the players that we say, barring an exception of say some players who suddenly came out of the limelight and got about 7 to 8 crores in the auction, most of the players, the core like Rohit, Bumrah, they all came into the IPL on the back of their India performances. What is their grade in the BCCI? After that only they are now established themselves in the IPL.
no, I'm surprised the selectors are told by the board, not now, it has been the convention for a long time, that they're not supposed to watch the IPL games. But the entire Indian teams are selected on the basis of the IPL games.
Correct.
But you would never see a selector being told to go and watch the IPL game. I think the IPL it's a theatre where the entire Indian talent is out there. And if you are saying that you've got to judge a Mohsin Khan or an Umran Malik or somebody else just on the basis of watching the game on TV, then you might as well do that for international cricket as well.
But also one thing which also comes in, and unfortunately this is true with franchises, all of them are being run by businessmen. They are not looking at workload management, this thing, nothing. They are looking at bottom line. In fact, I remember there were comments from Venki Mysore, who's the CEO of the Kolkata Knight Riders group. He said that if it were up to us, we would want a case where we can sign one player for like a year-long contract and have them play across leagues, because KKR, like many
No, that is going to happen now.
And it will happen.
It is already started.
It started.
It's already started.
So businessmen have a very different thinking and a different approach, because all of them are thinking of their own
See,
league.
there are a lot of questions I think you were
chats.
getting in terms of super chats. I'll just add to what you said. You used a word called bottom line. Now, the word bottom line would never be used on a cricket ground.
True, correct.
Or in team meetings. It will be used in boardrooms. Now, the difference between the IPL and the international cricket, if you're a captain or if you are whatever you are, is the same like being the CEO of a company and being the owner of a company.
Correct.
The CEO would always look at the bottom line. So while you're playing the IPL, you look at just 2 months. The owner, on the other hand, would not just look at the bottom line. The owner would be willing to let go of 4 quarters or 8 quarters or 12 quarters and look at the longevity of the company. And that's what the Indian selectors or the Indian captain would do. Now, see, again, I don't know. You devised a formula where I feel that a few senior players, see, the fast bowlers I can understand who were injured, Hardik or Bumrah. But there have been other players who've taken the bypass route. They were, I think, avoiding playing games, too many games. So what happens is you avoid failures. Yeah, you avoid failures. Yes. You avoid the failures. मैं कुछ 4 innings में run ना बनाऊँ.
See, I think.
And B, you would not want to get injured, which is okay.
Yes.
Which is okay. The second part of this theory I would subscribe to, that you want to be fresh mentally and physically, and then you're looking at the World Cup. Only in India or in the subcontinent, the World Cup is a big and all end all story.
Yes.
Other nations, they go to the World Cup, they get done with the World Cup, and life goes on. For us, it doesn't.
I think, IPL, I think, is more taxing than international cricket these days because you're traveling. If India is a
Peak
huge
summer.
exactly in that time of the year, you're traveling a lot. Now, franchisees, they expect you to endorse a lot of sponsors
You're doing
and
marketing
products.
related stuff as
Then
well,
you have
correct?
to do all these press conferences, interviews.
Behind the scenes.
A player can still choose not to give an interview when he's part of the Indian team, when he is traveling and.
Yeah, you can carry on.
He
No.
must be doing.
No, look at the last line.
Yeah.
Computer game.
Now everybody. Anyways, I believe for Ravindra Jadeja also initially these things were said that he may not when it was not announced. When it was said that Ravindra Jadeja is all but out of the T20 World Cup, a few people did say. Anyways, so A. And secondly, when you said that players are being picked on the basis of their performances in the IPL, trust me, there is a sense of insecurity amongst the players. They don't want to miss the IPL because they know for every Yuzi Chahal, there is a Ravi Bishnoi who's bowling well. So Yuzi Chahal would also want to use all those 14 games because he knows there's a Rahul Chahar, there's a Ravi Bishnoi, and there was Murugan Ashwin, so many spinners, Mayank Markande,
Varun
Chakravarti, and that is exactly what happened. One season of decent performance from Varun Chakravarti earned him a place in the Indian team for the T20 World Cup, and an experienced campaigner like Yuzi Chahal was left out too. But I am saying the players like Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, maybe KL Rahul to an extent, Jasprit Bumrah, these players, they are short in the Indian team.
They made men as far as
At
international
least
selection.
they can pick and choose, because you would remember that time when Rohit Sharma was not picked for the Australian tour,
Yes.
and because he was not well at that time, if I am not wrong, at that time Nitin Patel was the team doctor for the Indian team.
Yes.
So team was announced, Rohit Sharma wasn't part of that team, and immediately a few minutes or half an hour later, Mumbai Indians posted a video where Rohit Sharma was seen
In the nets.
playing strokes,
Yes.
pulling, hooking, and it was just a message at that time maybe. So but the point is that people want to play IPL because people want to get picked in the IPL for a good amount of money, because that has become a prestige issue also. B, that can earn you a place in the Indian team also.
Many questions, I think. Let's start with them, Shivam. I saw Chandresh Narayan. Chandresh was...
Chandresh is saying that ODI squad release at 11 AM only, and then he is also asking for a shout out for his Cricket Chronicles.
For his Cricket Chronicles with Chandresh belongs to the entire world. It is the #1 YouTube channel.
#1.
Yeah.
I thought it was #3.
Is it?
Behind Sports Tak and Sports Today.
No. Chandresh is the pioneer.
Leo Venom says, we say about Pakistan, but after Shaheen Shah Afridi, they prepared Naseem Shah. What did we prepare after Bumrah's injury? Nothing. Why we are going back?
No, because we are still fighting the reality. We are not willing to accept the reality of Bumrah also. So there are suggestions now that Bumrah should be on the flight to Australia. We'll see if he can play in the semi-finals. We'll see if he can play in the finals and this and
see
that.
or for sure.
In the semi-finals.
Again, you're making the same mistake, if at all you are, like you did last year.
2020.
When the selectors asked Virat and Ravi Shastri, see, Hardik is not playing in the IPL. Would you rather want to change him? They said, no, we are confident.
And we'll play with him as a batsman.
We've been told by some physio, some Mumbai Indians physio, that he's fit. And you know what happened. Right now, the situation is such that the Indian team is off to Australia in a week's time.
5th.
Yep.
Dussehra.
Yeah. And in terms of Pakistan, I think Pakistan have prepared very well, Leo, for the T20s. I think the cricket in Pakistan has revived. even though back home in Pakistan,
Middle
people,
order.
they criticize Babar, but he's got good bowling lineup. I mean, middle order is a problem because the openers
There is no middle
rarely
order.
get out.
There
They
is
play-
no middle order in the Pakistan team.
Chandresh called me today. He said people are making fun.
making
I'll tell you later.
fun of us.
Not you this time, because the other day I asked, that would you be able to recognize or identify some of these players in the Pakistan? There's something going on that we were mocking.
No, I said I will.
Anyways, chalo, next
one.
Ao ji.
I'll take this
SP
one.
Roy.
Roy SP says, ultimately, it's a player's decision to prioritize matches, but we need to have a look at Stark for his choices. Leave the IPL, hasn't played BBL since 2014. In BBL, franchises are supportive to players. Okay, fair enough on the first half, but BBL is a bad example. The Big Bash League is currently being sued by Channel 7. For what reason?
Lack of star players.
Lack of star players.
No, but I think what he's suggesting is
Also, no, it's not, because most of the time, most of the top Australian players aren't playing the BBL because more often than not they have
It
international
clashes with
cricket.
their international
It clashes with their schedule, so they aren't really playing. In fact, that is one of the reasons why the channel is suing.
No, but still, he has.
She's in a half. See, the top part is right. In fact, IPL Stark is more often than not pulled out of the auction.
Exactly, Pat Cummins.
No, he gets his good money from KKR.
No, but I think one of the seasons he did pull out.
No, I think that was years back because last 2-3 years he's been around.
I think this year also.
No, he played this year. 2020
No,
he was
not
playing.
the next season.
No.
I think he's not going to play the next season.
he's there. He's very much there. Nothing of the sort.
Stark is not there. Stokes. It was, I think, a mistake. Stokes.
Ben
also.
Stokes. There are so many examples.
no, ECB. The players are not playing in the 100.
Which is
Although
what
to be-
the next super chat was about, I guess.
But to
No,
be
it
fair,
wasn't a super chat. It was sent by someone.
Yeah,
I forgot his
It was
name.
just a
to
comment.
be fair, that will also be corrected
I think
now.
Chandresh
because
also tweeted about
next
it.
FTP,
Okay,
all
this
the major countries, the top 3, have their own unofficial windows.
Okay.
Let's say
This
Not
one is-
unofficial, official.
official windows. Yeah.
This one is from Australia.
Yep.
Can you zoom in?
Wapas jao.
Shivam? Yeah. This is Mehek Dhanju. It's not international. Even in IPL, players get injured and they don't play. For example, Jadeja and Chahar, and even IPL is an Indian product, not a foreign league. Okay. Jadeja, I think he injured his knee. That, of course, will keep
Shoulder.
him-
Rib injury. That's we got 3 different.
3 different body parts.
I had heard shoulder.
No, okay. I think when did he?
I think it
In
was
that,
the shoulder.
when he dropped that catch
No.
in the IPL, it ruled him on rib injury. He suffered a knee injury during West Indies.
I
Aggravated
think-
that same injury
I
in the
think
Asia Cup.
they had said it was the shoulder during the IPL, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
Rib also. That's what.
and
But
they
there
were,
was another story.
Yeah.
Of course
So,
we know.
but they were actually 2 of the highest paid players for CS.
Chahar especially because he's
No,
not
Chahar had
the
to-
option. Huh?
Chahar couldn't have played. no?
Exactly, he got
So
surgery.
I'm not implying that he was desperate to play in the IPL. The fact is, even if he won't have
had-
been
he
able
didn't
to
have a
play.
choice because he underwent
got
surgery.
injured in January.
Yes. He
Yeah,
went to
that's
NCA, but that prolonged
Even if
his
he'd
injury
gone
even
for a
further.
surgery, I think he ultimately
No, he got
did go
injured.
in,
He got injured few days after the auction, and then had to
in
undergo
January, in January or
Yes,
February.
yes. February, I
So
think.
there was no chance.
No
for
chance
him
of
to
him.
have,
And he was in a very.
And he got injured.
Yeah.
He was not carrying a niggle. चलो यार निगल है मैं surgery
power
करा
through.
लूं
हाँ.
या avoid कर लूं. He got injured. He clearly got injured.
After that 6 for 7, when he was at his peak, he got
He
injured.
got injured.
Rahul Java is like saying, I can be optimistic, but honestly, India is virtually out of the World Cup with Bumrah out.
I don't think we can ever say that. There have been miracles or there have been performances.
Especially in Australia.
Brisbane
Yeah.
2021,
No, Sydney,
Sydney, yes.
Melbourne.
Yep.
So first test match you lost,
After
and
the
then you
36
won
all
the
out,
next
you-
one.
Yep.
So anything can happen. I think that's the problem, Rahul, with all of us, and the entire cricketing community in the country, because we do not love our cricket. We love our cricketers, and then we raise them to the level where we think यही जिता सकता है और तो कोई जिता नहीं सकता.
And we get deflated too.
Oh, you never know, yaar. It's an opportunity for maybe somebody like Mohammad Shami or Mohammad Siraj. You never know what can happen. Maybe Deepak Chahar can also come in at some point.
When?
Maybe as a
And
fifth
how?
fast bowler. But if it has to happen before
You're
the
saying
15th.
more injuries are on the cards?
I mean, to be fair,
No,
Deepak Hooda is
if
already out
Deepak
injured.
Chahar comes in as a fifth fast bowler, that'll not be because of any injury. That'll be
Team
because of
composition
some
needs.
logic or some sense or the lack of it.
So you're saying, okay, lack of it also can get
No,
Deepak
sense,
Chahar.
you make sense, and the lack of it means you can't see sense.
No, but then fifth fast bowler, then I don't think now that you just have two extra batsmen in that 15-member squad. One is of course Rishabh Pant. The other one is
Rahul, you will have,
Hooda.
you will at some point have to possibly decide on whether you need a third spinner or not. While it is
No, I think
a
you need
very
a-
good
you-
option
you need a third
to have an
spinner.
off spinner because there'd be teams with left-handed batsmen,
Ashwin.
right? You might also need a left-arm orthodox spinner because
Aksar.
pitches in Australia. No, orthodox.
No,
Somebody
not
like
skid.
Kuldeep,
Bounce.
a Chinaman. Because there'd be bounce on the Australian pitches.
But Kuldeep now is out of contention.
Out of contention.
So you might also possibly need a spinner who can bowl with both hands. That way you would need 10 spinners. See, but you've got to select the 15. Na?
Yes.
See, there's been this luxury in bilateral cricket. That's where the problem lies. Because in bilateral cricket, before COVID, after COVID, you've been sending 18, 20, your selectors will always pick 18 players. So COVID allowed you to, but before the COVID and after the COVID, you would always select 18 players or 19 players or 20 players because isko bhi chun do, isko bhi chun do. And that is when you start giving false sense of complacency,
Yes.
false sense of hope.
Hope. That's true.
So you can't
इसको भी कप्तान
have
बना दो, इसको भी बना दो, उसको भी
a
बना दो.
15-member ICC tournament team trims down your luxuries.
Yes.
You've got to look at the necessities. यार ये चाहिए. Otherwise, you can take 4 more batsmen also. ये नीचे बड़ा अच्छा खेलता है, ये ऊपर बड़ा अच्छा खेलता है. You can take 5 opening batsmen also. But would you need 3 spinners in Australia? Could there be games? Could there be games where only 1 spinner, 4 fast bowlers are needed?
Yes.
Do not say anything against Ashwin.
No, I'm not. Drop Akshar Patel, drop Yuzi Chen.
Why? How?
Drop anybody. I'm just
Suiting
asking
the
you.
conditions. Pick the
I'm
right
just
bowler.
asking you. You cannot have one player in the team, any one player or a batsman, कि यार ऐसा है, वो that game on the 2nd or the 3rd in Sydney, we'll play him.
And by the way, this was the approach. This was the thought process when the Indian team for the last T20 World Cup was selected.
Yes,
You would remember.
Varun Chakravarti will play 2
because of-
games and then we'll rest him, play him in
Then
the
Ashwin will
semi-finals.
play this
And
game.
we'll play him in the semi-finals.
You know, that is
Yeah,
how
that-
the team
I'm
was selected.
looking at the internet now, and while a very senior journalist, he's tweeted saying that the last hasn't been heard on Bumrah, and he may actually go off to Australia. So there are others also who are saying he'll be fit for the first game, or he'll be fit for the 3rd game, or some are saying maybe the semi-finals he'll be fit. Some are saying finals में fit हो जाएंगे.
मतलब
do
fit
not-
हो जाएंगे, ठीक है. Final में
Do not-
होंगे ना.
Do not count your chickens till they're hatched.
Yes.
Right now,
You're clinging on to eternal hope. मतलब last जो
हाँ, last
छूट
straw.
रहा है ना, अरे रस्सी तब
the biggest example is not just the Australia tour, is the 2007 World Cup T20
Yes.
World Championship.
Who would have thought?
When you went there, you were Kora Kagas. You had a new captain, mostly youngsters, and a few seniors who felt that the board had snubbed them.
Yes.
In terms of captaincy. Yuvraj wasn't happy.
Yuvraj wasn't
Sehwag was making a comeback, but he thought, "Bhai, I could also have been the captain." And there was no Sachin. In 2007,
Shivam,
you thinking
go back
of going to a World Championship without Sachin, without Saurabh, without Rahul, without Zahir Khan, who was injured,
Yes.
and without Anil Kumble.
Unthinkable.
And you won the tournament. You won that tournament, yeah.
Acha, I think before we wrap up, I'm just going to, there are a lot of people joining us. I'm just going to take a few questions. Ricky Patel, one of our regular viewers, wants to know how many punctures in the Indian team right now. Chandresh,
There are so many.
yeah, I'll take that. Chandresh is saying Pakistan won the 1992 World Cup without an
Waqar
injured
Yunus.
Waqar
Waqar
Yunus in
Yunus, yes.
Australia, by the way.
Even Javed Miandad wasn't
Yes.
picked for the side initially.
Yeah.
He was called while the team was there.
Yes.
Okay, I think Vikram Talreja has some critical viewpoint. He's saying you guys have talked about. Okay, you've been talking that you just drop one spinner, preferably Ashwin, and bring one more fast bowler in the 15. Okay, what if Jadeja would have been still there? Would you have done the same?
Yeah.
If not, then why are you counting Akshar as an extra instead of an all-rounder? So basically, he's saying if same situation, Jadeja would have been there in place of Akshar, then would you have said that drop one spinner?
Of course.
There goes your.
That's it.
I'll tell you something. What Vikram? Last year, they took 5 spinners to Dubai for the World Cup. 5 spinners.
5.
Did it ever make sense? Finally, last day they said, Akshar, sorry, yaar, tum ghar jao. We'll have Shardul instead. Did they pick the right team then?
No.
Sure,
Did
go
they
down.
pick the right team then? And then they said कि देखो जी ये team ने मांगा था. And which is a fact. So at times team ये मांगती
that
है,
was-
कप्तान ये मांगता है, doesn't necessarily work out. Last year, the World Cup, it is the right case study for you to study.
Yes.
कि जी एक तेज वाला लेग स्पिनर चाहिए, एक स्लो वाला लेग स्पिनर चाहिए, एक मिस्ट्री चाहिए. There was no mystery, there was nothing. Your team just flopped. Why? Because you had wrong people. I mean, why blame the rain when it's the choice of clothes that you wear or you don't? So I think 3 spinners plus Deepak Hooda, who the captain doesn't trust.
Clearly,
to be
for
honest.
bowling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Look at the sameness in your bowling, yeah. You are just one fast bowler, Bumrah, Bhuvi, Arshdeep, Harshal.
One dimensional.
Deepak Chahar.
Sameness, yes. Deepak Chahar is not part of the team, by the way. Yes.
He's in the reserves.
Arshdeep.
And look at the inexperience of Harshal and Arshdeep as well.
Yes.
Look at the history of injuries. When you picked the side, you knew that Bumrah and Harshal were coming off injuries.
By the way, you never know because you also have to see. See, Harshal has played only 4 games, out of which in one of those games it was an 8 overs a side game. He just got to bowl, I think, 1 or 2 overs.
2 overs for 43.
So
yes.
you also have to see that he is completely fit or he is match fit. So depending on that, so initially that was the idea. Shami and Deepak Chahar they were picked. Shami as a backup to Jasprit Bumrah, Deepak Chahar as a backup to Bhuvi and Harshal Patel.
Yes.
So that was the reason. Anyways, Amit Yadav, people keep blaming IPL. Bumrah, he only bowls around 60 overs in the IPL, but because they are getting a lot of money in the IPL, that is the reason why people keep blaming the IPL. Bumrah
So I would never blame the player.
Bumrah's injury is a
Simple.
blessing in disguise,
I would never ever blame any Indian player for giving priority to the IPL. Even if the player wants to, like Virat said after the IPL, I was mentally famished and physically drained. I didn't know what to do. I'm sure if given a choice, he would have sat out 6 games.
Yes.
But he couldn't.
Why?
Even though he couldn't because of the franchisee, because of the broadcaster, because of the board. So the board gave him rest immediately after the IPL. When there were suggestions from some of the former India players, some of the legends that India has known, why rest in the internationals?
Yes.
And Virat
Couldn't have
admitted-
made sense for Mumbai Indians to rest Rohit and Bumrah because when you knew they were out of playoff contention, playing them for those 5 additional games when they were out of the playoff because they had lost 8 out of 8.
Right.
Okay, now we'll give a chance to rest. 6 games rest, knowing that you had nothing at stake.
I think 5 games, 4
Yeah.
games, 3 games, something. No rest.
No rest. That is why you see he played 5 or 6 unnecessary games when it did not enhance or decrease the star value or the prestige value of the Mumbai Indians.
No, but actually not having him there would, in the eyes of the owners, reduce the prestige. That's why they play.
You finished in the wooden spoon nevertheless.
Okay, Amardeep Biru. IPL is definitely responsible for injuries, but Bumrah's career will not go will not be
Will not
too
be
long
long.
because of his actions. So he has to skip IPL for long national duty. You may add to that, but just before that, I think Bumrah, I don't see him playing too much of Test cricket
In the near future, correct.
Yes.
Hardik has already decided he's not going to play Test cricket,
Yes.
even though he's what, 26, 27, 28,
27. Yeah.
and he doesn't want to play in the Test arena.
Yeah. And Bumrah
Bumrah, like Rahul said, considering where he is now, again, I don't know if there are suggestions from people on social media. They may say otherwise. I also think that Test cricket, it looks difficult for you to say that Bumrah can end up as the most successful Indian Test fast bowler. He can't.
He can't.
Him reaching 200 Test wickets will also be a huge ask now.
Yes. Big.
150 could also be a huge ask.
Correct.
He's some 124,
He's
128.
128.
So
128 Test wickets.
and I think you moving towards a system where players would first give up on red ball cricket
Yeah.
Yes.
and continue playing in white ball cricket. And it's not just one player or two players. That is going to be a norm, that is going to be a convention. Whereas in earlier times, your legends, people who've been very, very successful would start by giving up on white ball cricket and wanting to prolong their red ball cricket career.
Yes.
True.
It's the other way around.
It's the other way around. And this is club versus country in a very different twist. Because side by side, what is happening? New Zealand's players, okay, we're giving up on our central contract. Because we now know that the trend is league-based franchisee cricket.
And
That is
three
the
top.
In India, you can't do that.
We can't do that in India.
Because you control the aces. And the moment you say, I don't want to play for the country, I don't think any IPL team would also pick you.
Yes, that's it. Yep.
And also you have to realize that these franchisees that own, in fact, the owners who control the franchisees in the IPL, they are also buying franchisees
Elsewhere,
in the
correct.
In South Africa,
overseas leagues
UAE.
also.
Yeah.
So these players for India, although it is very difficult for the Indian players, although there's a way being trying to be find out as to if they can play in those leagues also. So in times to come, in near future, I think the franchisees can put pressure on the BCCI somehow or the other and allow these very players to play in those leagues.
But even if there's like say international players you're talking about in
I'm talking about Indian players. International players there.
International, like there are certain players who are only T20 guns for hire.
Yes.
So like a pertinent example, you have Sunil Narine, Andre Russell. Neither have made the West Indies team for the World Cup. Neither of them are centrally contracted. Which team are they in the IPL? KKR.
Okay.
In the for the what do you call it? Trinbago Knight Riders, both have been signed. Abu Dhabi Knight Riders, both will be playing. So
No,
they
it'll
have been-
happen with Suresh Raina. It'll happen with Robin Uthappa as well.
correct.
Yes.
I mean,
They've taken retirement
They
yeah,
will.
Correct.
I mean, and I think Robin Uthappa or Suresh Raina saying goodbye to cricket and wanting to play the leagues, I think is a very good way forward for these players.
Yes.
We can at least see them play.
See them and there are so
Road
many,
Safety or Legends League or the Abu Dhabi or the Dubai or the South African League.
the road
We'd be happy to see them.
Road Safety and Legends League.
I dread a day when somebody who's in the national reckoning says, boss, I can't play cricket anymore. Mentally and physically, I can't take it anymore.
Yes.
Cricket as in, like
International
you said,
cricket.
national. I dread that day.
It's coming
Because
soon.
ultimately,
It's coming
you are a
out
human being.
internationally.
You're a human being. Why go further? We come to office every day.
Yes.
We drive down from Gurgaon, and even though we started our day late yesterday because the earlier night was long. So we'd gone home very late. We finished late. So yesterday we started late. We came to office. We went and played a cricket match, an office cricket match. We reached home at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? 3 o'clock in the morning. We had to get up. We had to come to office. But today, I requested Rahul, who lives 10 kilometers away from my house,
10 kilometers?
7-8 kilometers,
No.
towards the office. I requested him, Rahul, can you please come and pick me up? Because I today am mentally and physically tired. I can, no, I told
volunteered.
but at that time I said, no, don't worry. And finally, when I was about to leave for work, I couldn't fake it anymore in Virat's words. I said, no, today I cannot. So, you are a human being after all. You are a human being after all.
I mean, someone is offering you to do the same job you do, less hours, more money. All of us would take it with our eyes
And
closed.
Shane, also there are many cricketers who are out of reckoning. For example, Suresh Raina, how old was he when he played his last game?
31,
32?
2021.
Okay. And he is looking at players, international players who are actually plying their trade or playing overseas everywhere in the world.
Correct.
And making pretty good money also. Because a cricketer at that age would want to play, but he was not getting opportunities. The only opportunity that he would get would be a 2-month period for the IPL. And the moment that dream also got over, it was easy for him to take a decision to announce his retirement.
Correct.
And there are a lot of cricketers. Harbhajan Singh also. How old was Harbhajan when he played his last international match?
He was 34.
Maybe less than that, because
33, 34.
his
34, I
his
think.
international
33,
career kind of got phased out also. He was playing IPL cricket for a long time.
I think his career, basically 2011 England tour, when he got injured midway through the series. After that, you've not seen Harbhajan. I think he played a couple of test matches.
Against Australia, he played.
and a very few
He
games.
was given, he was allowed to
Play his
go
100
past
tests,
100
yeah.
test matches. I think that was in Bangladesh.
I think
And
Australia,
I think
Chennai.
Baju would have been what?
33, 34.
Not even that, yeah.
Less than that, I think.
11. So when in September 2011, during the England tour, when you decided when he got injured
Yes.
midway through the series, I think that was the last time he was actually given a proper go. After that, he played a couple of test matches against England where Dhoni didn't bowl him, and then I think one test match against Australia, and then one in Dhaka. But he was not given the respect or the opportunity that Harbhajan Singh deserved.
Correct.
So that's what I'm saying. So many players who are who find themselves
Got meetings, huh?
out of reckoning. They also want to. So today, they might just rush for their retirements and play anywhere in
Anywhere
the
in
world,
the world.
including the IPL. So, anyways, I think that's all the time that we have today. So, before we, Ritika Sharma.
Ritik
has a
Sharma
question.
is like saying, let me
Ritik,
tell
sorry.
you, before 2000, cricketers have been selected on the basis of Ranji and Dulip Trophy. IPL has finished our domestic.
Yeah, I would say that the IPL has actually allowed you that extra boost.
Yep.
But it's also a double-edged sword. If your domestic players look at the IPL as the only avenue available, not just the international players,
It's making.
there are domestic players
Yes.
who skip the season.
And look for to get an IPL contract.
I will say it has kind of dimmed Syed Mushtaq Ali. It's not dimmed Ranji or
No, Syed Mushtaq Ali.
No,
was-
people still
Siddharth,
hate.
people
You
say
are-
that
no.
because they want just
The
before the
IPL,
auction,
just before the auction,
Yeah.
or
correct.
just before the
Shah Rukh
IPL,
Khan, classic case.
and just before the IPL, they would want to either have match practice or to be better
Audition.
placed in your
Yeah.
auctions.
Shah Rukh
Mushtaq Ali
Khan.
people will play.
Yes.
One last question before we leave. Davy Singh from Australia. He says Rohit should take strike. KL is not a confident guy to face that first ball.
I do not let anybody else take the first ball.
But I think what they've done is alternately. One day,
Yeah, sometimes
Rohit
you
will
see
take
Rohit
and
doing it,
next day
sometimes you see
Rohit.
KL doing it.
Haan.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anyways, that is all the time that we have today on this match is on Sunday, 7 p.m.
Barsapara.
Tomorrow we'll try and be back.
We will be back.
We'll try.
What do you mean by try?
Never say never, or can't be sure
कोशिश कामयाब होती है, वादे अक्सर टूट
वादे अक्सर टूट जाते हैं.
Okay.
चलो यार, many of Siddharth's friends and relatives have
Siddharth
lost
the
interest
commenter.
in watching Indian cricket because of the players giving priority to IPL over international. Cricket is cricket. We also
and,
played
and,
T20
and
cricket.
honestly, let me end by saying that I do not blame the players at all. It's the system now. Anybody in that system, not the BCCI, not the player, not the franchisee, not the broadcaster, but I think small percentage, each one of them
Viewers and their
will have on their
expectations.
back.
Yes.
Huh? Expectations
Yeah.
make things worse. Anyways, Shivam, time to say goodbye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Vanakkam.